Okay, Adrian in New York, I got your new Stryker here. Just getting it set up for you. So let's take a quick peek at it here. 878. So you don't want to turn this thing up anymore on AM low power mod. So see what happens. It just flattens out. It doesn't have any more headroom. So you just start to lose, you know, that fundamental waveform, which you don't want to deviate from, because it doesn't help you any once you start flattening out and stuff like that. So this is the low power side, so it's about 100 and maybe 35% or something right now. So you're not going to see tons and tons of power down that low, but the radio does have quite a bit of swing. So it definitely does a lot on AM, or some of the other ones, the more popular ones too, don't do as much for AM. So here's the transmit frequency. It's pretty much right where it should be, and you can also see that there if you look. So we're gonna run the tone and see how it looks. And it's not really too bad right now, but the problem with these is they run out of headroom. See what happens, how you flatten out and all that stuff. So they don't have the ability to really run a high level of audio. You would have to modify and direct inject and stuff like that to get a much higher level of audio. And believe me, the audio is strong on this though, so it's not a big deal to have all these crazy numbers. So, but it's got a lot of modulation, so it's going to drive a lot of drive. So we'll go to upper sideband and run the test there. The skip's booming in today from Europe. And talked to my friend Uniform Golf 14, and I was talking to him. Then like another guy in Denmark came back, and then I had to get out of there because I got stuff I got to get done. But it is fun to talk out there. For those guys that enjoy the DX, it's definitely coming in today from Europe. But I made a really long distance contact today in my car, mobile, before the skip started. It was crazy, 40 plus miles on sideband, just mobile. And that was with that new President Maryland antenna, so I can't say enough good things about that. The guys I was talking to, he was on a base, but I was surprised that I could get him. So that's what it looks like on sideband. It's not really that stellar. It never is. It's 11, 12-ish, so let's see what that looks like when we... You can see all that extra crap here. That's unnecessary. See how a lot of that just goes away and it drops way down. This is the 0 dBm line, so you want to drop that stuff down. There we go. That looks better. Somewhere like that. And now we can see here. So we can enlarge this just for viewing only, just to make it look better on the viewfinder here. It's a great skip today. Alright, so we're done. And we'll come back. I'll put my Road Devil mic on this, and I'll have a quick look. Okay, so this is AM mode. Our power's up all the way. Obviously when you talk it's gonna max out, which it pretty much does anyways on this radio. about 100 watts. So there's our carrier. This is our average power. So as you can see there, it's about double at times what the carrier is. So the average power is moving and the carrier is increasing. If that's something that guys like, we'll put it in peak. The big W is peak. So our peak power is, you know, up there 90 plus usually on these. Sometimes it'll do over 100. So it really just depends. But I mean, at this point, we're pretty much right at 100. So it's nothing really major if we're not seeing the full 100. But some guys are meter. I don't know. They just want to see as much as they can see on a meter. But it's not always about that. Alright, so here is the modulated signal on the spectrum analyzer, so it looks pretty good, you know. It's picking up some of that radio in the background, but that's pretty cool. We'll go to sideband here. So here's sideband. So you're going to see probably, you know, about like this on sideband, so it's okay though. The radio's working fine. It's just it doesn't give you a big indication of power there, just like I've said many times on other videos. But that's how we're looking there. So we're looking pretty respectable there. And then on sideband you can see we're doing roughly anywhere from 60, 70, 80, 90. I think it flashed 100 there for a second. So it is capable of doing quite a bit of power if that's what you want it to do. If you don't need to run the power, obviously turn the RF power down and run less, because you know you can obviously do that. So we'll go back to AM and we'll turn this down to, I don't know, let's see where we can put it. There's about 2.5 watts. Okay, so with 2.5 watts on this radio, that's where, like I've said before, these are a little more aggressive for that type of preference. And you're not going to find this on a lot of the other newer style radios. I mean, I'm assuming that the 655 plus will do the same thing. I actually have a couple of those I'm looking at right now. I haven't had a chance to try one out, but I'm assuming it'll be the exact same radio performance wise, just without the sideband. So that could be something that tempts somebody that doesn't really want sideband, you know, and you can save some money and still get the AM performance out of the radio that you might want. So there's an option for everybody. If you don't want to spend the money on the one with sideband, you don't think you'll ever use it, then there's an option. So, but it does pretty good from 2 watts, as you can see. There it is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check. So I'm going to get out of here and get your radio ready to box up. I don't know if I can put this on the antenna. I don't have a cable to run over here right now, so nope, we'll have to just do a quick basic test. Okay, so we got the signal generator bottomed out. Let's see if I move the clarifier, we see the direction, and it changes the pitch. So we know that we're good there. Obviously we have 5K up and down here. You can also put it in VFO and change how these functions work. I'll leave that up to you. But it's got a good receiver, so let's put that on. Let's see, it's a little more quieter with just the NB on, because usually on most sideband radios that I've seen, that the NB is the only function that works. The A&L never works on sideband. I think A&L is only meant for AM. So let's go over to AM and change this to AM. Whoops. Only 3 kilowatts, huh? I would not say the only. Yeah, there's S9, so really strong signal. I just want to kind of set my baseline. 100% mod we're going to do. So it's a little more realistic. I'm going to turn up my volume some now. There's minus 120. So when it was bottomed out, it was 130. This goes to 110, and then I add another 20 here. For anyone that doesn't know, that's what this is another 20 dB attenuator. So just an inline. So it looks like it drops off at about 120. Let's see. I can hear it at 122. Well, 122.2 is kind of where it drops out at. So that's pretty good. I would say, honestly, I actually probably prefer that better, because I think a little less sensitivity is actually better in some regards, because then you're not going to be as susceptible to more noise. I think sometimes some of the other radios may be just a tad too sensitive, and then we're picking up too much noise because of that. Let's see. With our A&L circuit on, it definitely made a little bit of a difference too. But yeah, it pretty much drops out a little bit past there. I can still hear it at 123. You guys probably can't, but it's still there, just so ever so slightly. So it's pretty good though. I shouldn't have any problem hearing anybody on this one for sure. Okay, well, we'll get it wrapped up and get it heading your way. I'm going to try maybe even for today, because it's Thursday, so I'm going to try. If I can figure out the best way to do it, I'll do it. If not, it'll go out tomorrow. But either way, I'm going to get it out to you either today or tomorrow. Thanks a lot, 73.